Despite the COP26 climate talks going into overtime, leaders from across the world walked away from the Scotland summit feeling victorious this weekend. The final agreement, aimed at keeping global warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius, drew applause from delegates as all countries reached a consensus calling for a reduction of fossil fuels. For more, let's bring in CBS News climate reporter Cara Korte. Hi there, Cara. I know you have been following every twist and turn of this summit. So leaders from all 197 countries agreed on the Glasgow Climate Pact. What are some key takeaways?
Well, the good news, Elaine, is that this is the most progressive climate agreement that the countries in the COP have ever agreed to. The bad news is that this still doesn't get us to where science demands us to get to. That is the top line. Now, one important thing to pick out is something that actually happened before the agreement was signed, and that was a pact that was penned by the delegates from the United States and China. That's notable because the U.S. and China, adversaries in so many elements of world politics, agreed in this pact to work together to help solve this crisis. Really important because the U.S. and China are the world's two leading emitters. Now, the pact that was signed this weekend, some highlights, more commitments to cutting carbon and greenhouse gas emissions. More than 100 countries agreed to slash methane, the super pollutant methane, of 30% by 2030. There were also moves to phase out fossil fuel subsidies in this agreement. There was also structures put in place for something called a carbon market, which allows countries that are not quite meeting their carbon emissions to pay for carbon credit from countries that are exceeding their goals, so that basically the mentality there is if you're not decreasing emissions in your own country, at least you're helping somewhere in the country to lower their emissions. The other big focus was coal. Now, coal has never been written into a COP agreement. This was the 26th COP. Coal has never been a focus of these goals. And for the first time in 26 meetings, coal was written in as a target to start reducing it. Now, there was a little bit of drama around this towards the end of the negotiations because originally the text had said that all 197 countries would commit to phasing out the use of coal-based power plants. China and India in particular voiced their opposition to that in kind of the final hour of negotiations, and that wording got changed to the phasing down rather than the phasing out of coal. A
significant change, obviously. So, Cara, off the top, you mentioned how despite these sort of steps being taken, that they didn't necessarily go to what science demanded. So what were some issues that negotiators fell short on?
Yeah, well, starting back with that coal issue, Elaine, as you said, that was a notable transition. The president of the COP, his name is Alex Sharma. He's a member of parliament in Great Britain. And he actually, in his final remarks to the delegates, apologized to smaller nations in particular that they couldn't get that coal language just right. And he became emotional while doing so. So that shows just that significance in the wording that really, really matters. Other gaps they fell short on were some in regards to climate financing. According to the Paris Agreement, by the year 2020, aka last year, the world's most developed nations ought to have been contributing a total of $100 billion annually to smaller countries for climate resilience funds. Those countries fell about 20 billion short of that agreement this year, and nothing really changed dramatically with these negotiations regarding that international climate finance. They still think it's going to take another 5 years to get to that $100 billion mark. Finally, all of these conversations come back to projections and emissions projections. And we knew that going into this COP, the world was on track to warm 2.7 degrees by 2050. With these new negotiations, the International Energy Agency says that we're in a range right now. That worst case scenario, these new commitments could get us to 2.4. So going into it 2 weeks ago, we were at 2.7. Worst case scenario, we're now at 2.4. Most promising if everyone does everything that they agree to, and I don't think anyone's holding their breath for that, but if everyone does everything they need to, then we get to 1.8. And remember, 1.5, it's 1.5 to stay alive. That's really the goal.
So given all of that, Cara, what are the next steps here for climate activists? Because clearly, as you point out, there were a number of areas where they started to head down a certain direction, but then didn't necessarily follow through with the ultimate goal.
That's exactly right. The glass is either half empty or half full, depending on how you look at this one, Elaine. And certainly activists think that this COP was half empty. They were not satisfied with a lot of the agreements that were made. Greta Thunberg is arguably the most famous, the most impactful climate activist in the world. She said before COP even ended that it was a failure. She actually said on the COP stage that the only way to turn this summit into a success would be for people to know that it was a failure. What's interesting, though, is that even the delegates who gathered there, the most powerful delegates, John Kerry being one of them, acknowledged that this is not a perfect moment for us, that this is about making progress. Kerry said that old adage of we should not let the perfect be the enemy of the good, basically saying that any progress is good at the end of the day, even though we're not meeting that 1.5 goal yet. Next year in Egypt at COP27, countries will have to come with new targets. I want to leave you with this. Sir David Attenborough, the world-famous naturalist, opened COP this year, and he told delegates that we should not allow this story to end, the tale of the smartest species being doomed for that all-too human characteristic of failing to see the bigger picture. And as Attenborough was giving this speech, you could see the dais in front of him shaking. He was giving it with such rigor. So that's where we started, and that's where we're moving forward now.
Well, as you say, the science has clearly shown that there is an urgency to this, as we heard from those representatives of smaller nations especially, who are feeling very deeply the effects of climate change on our planet. Cara Korte, Cara, thank you very much.
Thank you, Elaine.